The grand hall where the Peace Summit takes place is a marvel of alien design. Sleek, polished surfaces that shimmer with an otherworldly glow. The delegates from Earth stand at the center, surrounded by their Valkyrian counterparts. The air is thick with tension, though no one dares speak it aloud. The Valkyrians, taller and more imposing than humans, with their glowing blue skin and eyes that seem to pierce into the very soul, maintain a serene and almost predatory calm. They speak in melodious tones, offering assurances of a bright future if humanity agrees to their terms. Captain Ilara Voss stands in the midst of it all, trying to ignore the overwhelming presence of the aliens around her. She's been in countless diplomatic situations before, but this feels different. This feels like a trap. The Valkyrians are offering peace, yes, but there's a coldness to it. Every word, every gesture, feels rehearsed, as if they're guiding humanity toward a specific decision. Yet the humans cannot afford to show weakness. The war with the alien Zorith Empire had nearly destroyed Earth, and the human race still bears the scars of their near extinction. The Valkyrian leader, Supreme Delegate Lorethan, addresses the room with a voice that carries authority, but is strangely soothing, almost hypnotic. "You see, humans," Lorethan begins, his gaze sweeping over the assembled human representatives. "Our civilization has thrived for eons, bringing peace to countless worlds. We have watched you rise from your wars and struggles, and now we offer you peace. A peace like no other, one where your species may join us in harmony, sharing the bounty of the galaxy. In exchange, all we ask is your compliance. Your autonomy will remain, but we will guide you, just as a child is guided by its elders." There's a beat of silence as the Valkyrians' words hang in the air like a finely tuned string, vibrating with meaning. The humans exchange uneasy glances. The terms seem too good to be true, yet the thought of a galaxy filled with peace and technological advancements, of wiping away the burdens of war, tempts even the most skeptical minds. Captain Voss feels the weight of the moment. She'd been preparing for this summit her entire career, knowing it could decide the future of humanity. Yet, there's a cold calculation in the Valkyrians' words, a layer of menace beneath the honeyed tones. She had always prided herself on reading people, and right now, she senses something darker behind Lorethan's smile. "You will surrender your weapons," Lorethan continues, his voice smooth like polished marble. "Your military will be restructured under our oversight, and all advanced weaponry will be neutralized. In return, we offer you technology beyond your wildest imagination, and protection from any hostile forces." A murmur ripples through the human delegation. Surrender their weapons. It feels like a breach of everything they've fought for, everything that makes humanity free. "Protection," Captain Voss echoes, her voice steady but sharp. She leans forward, meeting Lorethan's gaze, searching for the truth beneath the diplomat's veneer. "Protection from whom? And what guarantee do we have that this peace is permanent?" Lorethan's smile deepens, as though he were waiting for her to ask this exact question. "From anyone who might threaten your existence, of course. But you must understand, peace requires sacrifice. It is not a gift, but an agreement, one that will elevate your people to the stars." It's then that Captain Voss knows. This peace isn't a mutual agreement. It's a quiet conquest, a subtle subjugation wrapped in the promise of safety and prosperity. The Valkyrians offer only the illusion of peace, with strings attached. Voss stands tall, resisting the overwhelming urge to reveal her thoughts. She knows she cannot trust this, but her next move will be delicate. For humanity's sake, she must be diplomatic. "For now. Your terms are too generous to be true," she says, her voice firm and unwavering. "What is the real cost?" Lorethan's expression falters for the briefest moment, a flicker of irritation crossing his features. He recovers instantly, but the tension in the air is palpable now. The humans, uncertain but united, hold their breath. "We have offered you a future of peace, Captain Voss," Lorethan replies coolly. It is not for you to question the price. And in that moment, the first seed of rebellion is planted. Humanity might just have to fight for the right to decide its own future, no matter what price it has to pay. The atmosphere in the Grand Hall has shifted. What started as a calm diplomatic negotiation now feels like a delicate balance on the edge of disaster. The Valkyrians stand tall, their eyes gleaming with the promise of control. The human delegation is silent, but there's an undeniable tension in the air. Captain Ilara Voss stands at the center of the room, surrounded by her fellow diplomats, feeling the weight of humanity's future pressing down on her shoulders. The Valkyrians have made their offer, and it's clear now that they're not interested in a partnership. This is domination, veiled in the illusion of peace. Lorathan, the Valkyrian Supreme Delegate, stands before them, his voice calm and calculated. You must understand, peace is not just the absence of conflict. It is a way of life. Your people must trust us, as we have trusted you to be part of our greater galactic community. But Voss is not so easily swayed. She's seen too much to believe their words. The peace they offer is one that would leave humanity shackled, dependent, and controlled by a race that sees them as little more than a resource. What you offer is not peace, Voss replies sharply, her voice carrying across the room. It is surrender, and we will not bow to anyone, not even the Valkyrians. Her words hang in the air, thick with defiance. The room goes deathly quiet, the hum of tension palpable. The human representatives glance nervously at one another, unsure of how to react, but Voss stands firm, her posture unyielding. The Valkyrian's calm demeanor falters for a moment, a flicker of confusion passing between them. Lorathan's smile doesn't quite reach his eyes, but he recovers quickly. Captain Voss, you misunderstand. We seek only to guide you, to bring you into the fold of peace and prosperity. To resist is to defy your own future. Voss doesn't flinch. To surrender our weapons, our autonomy, and our right to make our own decisions is not peace. It is control. And we will not let ourselves be controlled. The room is now a battleground of words. The human delegates seem to shrink back, caught between the weight of history and the pressing reality of the Valkyrians' power. Some look at Voss with concern, others with admiration. She knows that speaking out like this could jeopardize everything, but her resolve is unwavering. Humanity has been through too much to let this happen. They've fought too long to give up now. Lorathan raises a hand, signaling for calm. His voice remains smooth, but there's a hint of something darker beneath it. Your defiance is admirable, Captain, but misplaced. You will see, in time, the wisdom of our terms, and when that time comes, you will regret this. With a subtle shift of his hand, the Valkyrian delegation stands in unison, their posture changing ever so slightly, as if preparing for something. Voss watches them closely. The moment of peace, fragile as it was, has shattered. This is no longer a negotiation. This is a warning. The human delegation is now on edge, but Voss refuses to be intimidated. She steps forward, locking eyes with Lorathan. I don't believe you understand, Lorathan. Humanity will never accept peace under threat. You may have the power to destroy us, but you will never break our will. If we have to fight for our survival, then we will. Lorathan's smile vanishes, replaced by a cold, calculating look. Very well, Captain Voss. We will see if your species can withstand what's to come. The Valkyrians turn, their movement almost synchronized, as if the entire event has been a well-practiced performance. But Voss can feel it. The shift in the air, the rising tension. Something dark and dangerous is about to unfold. As the Valkyrians leave the room, Voss takes a deep breath. The silence that follows is deafening. The human delegates, still in shock, look to her for guidance. We don't have much time, Voss says quietly, her voice carrying an edge of urgency. The Valkyrians won't stop here. They'll make their move soon, and when they do, we need to be ready. The room stirs with whispers of uncertainty, but Voss has already made her decision. The fate of humanity is now in their hands, and she will not let them be subjugated. The next steps will be risky, but it is the only choice they have left. The uneasy silence in the room lasts only for a moment before the doors of the grand hall close with a heavy thud. Outside, the air seems charged with an electric hum, as though the entire building is holding its breath. Captain Ilara Voss stands before the human delegates, her mind racing as the weight of her decision bears down on her. She's just made an enemy of the most powerful alien race humanity has ever encountered, and there will be consequences. She can feel it. The Valkyrians will not let her defiance go unanswered. The silence breaks as the first report comes in, something the human military has never been prepared for. A fleet of Valkyrian ships suddenly appears in Earth's orbit. No warning, no further negotiations. It's an invasion, masked as a peacekeeping operation. The moment the Valkyrians realize humanity's resolve, they strike without hesitation. Alert all military divisions. Voss orders, her voice cold and sharp. Activate the planetary defense grid. Prepare for engagement. The humans are not unprepared, but the sight of the Valkyrian fleet, massive, sleek, and practically invisible against the backdrop of space, sends a wave of dread through every military command center. Hundreds of ships, each one brimming with devastating weaponry, hover just beyond Earth's atmosphere. The peace they had so carefully offered is nothing more than a prelude to war. In the control room, Voss watches as the incoming data from Earth's defense systems flashes across the screens. The Valkyrians are using their advanced cloaking technology to mask their movements, making it nearly impossible to track their positions accurately. But they can't hide their weapons. The first strike is already underway, and humanity is struggling to respond. The first salvo hits Earth's outer orbital stations with brutal precision. Explosions light up the sky like fireworks, and the automated defense systems barely have time to react before more ships join the barrage. The Valkyrians show no mercy, launching wave after wave of energy blasts, obliterating satellites and defenses with terrifying ease. It's a calculated attack designed to cripple humanity's ability to retaliate before it even has a chance to mount a counteroffensive. Voss grits her teeth. Activate all fleets. We may be outclassed, but we'll make them fight for every inch of Earth. Her words carry over the comms, rallying humanity's forces. Despite the Valkyrians' technological superiority, Voss knows that humans have something the aliens don't: the will to fight, the adaptability to overcome, and a deep-seated need to protect their home. She gives the order to deploy Earth's defense ships, and within minutes, a small fleet of human vessels, retrofitted with salvaged alien tech, emerges from Earth's atmosphere, ready to engage. The battle is chaotic. Humanity's fleet, though significantly smaller, is quick and resourceful, using hit-and-run tactics and clever maneuvers to avoid the Valkyrians' overwhelming firepower. The Valkyrians' advanced weapons tear through space, but humanity's ships dance around them, unpredictable and relentless. Captain Voss watches as human pilots, fueled by desperation and fury, dodge and retaliate with precision. A report comes through. Human forces have successfully disabled a Valkyrian reconnaissance ship. It's a small victory, but one that sparks hope. Voss smiles grimly to herself as she sees the first signs that the Valkyrians, who had once seemed untouchable, can be hurt. But just as the tide of battle begins to shift, another wave of Valkyrian ships arrives. This time, larger and more heavily armed. The human ships are overwhelmed, unable to keep up with the sheer firepower and precision of their attackers. Earth's forces fight valiantly, but they are outmatched. Voss feels a chill run down her spine as a series of explosions rip through the human fleet. The Valkyrians are not here to negotiate. This is an invasion, and they are making it clear that they will stop at nothing to break humanity's spirit. Voss watches the battle unfold in real time, her mind racing for a solution. It's clear that humanity can't win in a straight-up fight. They need to change the game, use their strength in ways the Valkyrians can't predict. Send out the signal, she orders urgently. Prepare our secret weapon. As humanity's last line of defense begins to take shape, the Valkyrians tighten their grip, assuming victory is within reach. But they are wrong. The human spirit will not bend so easily. The first strike may have been theirs, but the fight has only just begun. The battle rages on in the skies above Earth, and the Valkyrian fleet seems unstoppable. Their ships move like shadows, too fast and too precise, devastating humanity's defenses with ruthless efficiency. But in the chaos of the conflict, a small victory is born. Humanity's response to the initial assault has been desperate but effective. Captain Ilara Voss stands in the command center of Earth's central military operations, watching the holographic display of the ongoing battle. The human fleet, though outclassed, is not backing down. Their ships may not have the technological might of the Valkyrians, but they possess something far more dangerous: unpredictability. Reports flood in from every corner of the Earth. Voss listens intently, taking in the data. The Valkyrian flagship, the largest ship in their fleet, has been hit by a barrage of human missiles, an attack that should have been impossible. The sheer audacity of the humans' tactics has momentarily staggered the aliens. "We've breached their shield systems," a voice crackles over the comms. It's a small opening, but it's there. "We can strike again." The words spark a flicker of hope within Voss, and she's quick to respond. "Redirect all available assets to target that weakness. We may only have one shot at this." But even as humanity fights back with renewed vigor, Voss knows they are still at a severe disadvantage. The Valkyrians' weapons are devastating, and their numbers are overwhelming. Despite this, she sees a glimmer of something unexpected. The Valkyrians have underestimated human ingenuity. Every time they predict humanity's next move, humanity surprises them with a new tactic. The Valkyrians, accustomed to commanding others, are unfamiliar with the unpredictable, chaotic nature of human warfare. As Voss watches the situation unfold, an idea begins to form in her mind. It's a long shot, an extremely risky plan, but it might just be the key to turning the tide of the war. Humanity needs to show the Valkyrians that they can't just crush them underfoot. If they are going to have a chance at victory, they must change the way the Valkyrians view them. She calls in her top strategist, Commander Talia Reyes, a brilliant tactician known for her unorthodox methods. "We need to hit them where it hurts," Voss says, her voice low but firm. "The Valkyrians rely too heavily on their flagship. If we can cripple it, we might force them to rethink their strategy." Reyes looks at her with a calculating gaze. "I've been running simulations," she replies. "A direct strike would be too risky. But if we can get a small team aboard their flagship, we might be able to sabotage their systems from the inside." Voss doesn't hesitate. Then it's settled. We go for their heart. In the next few hours, Voss and Reyes organize a covert strike team, composed of some of the most skilled soldiers and engineers in the human military. They will infiltrate the Valkyrian flagship, using their knowledge of alien technology to disable its core systems and disrupt its power grid. It's a daring plan that could easily fail, but failure is no longer an option. The strike team boards a stealth shuttle, a modified human craft designed to evade detection, and heads toward the Valkyrian flagship. As they approach the massive alien ship, Voss watches through the eyes of their drones, holding her breath as the shuttle slips past the Valkyrian fleet's perimeter unnoticed. Inside the shuttle, the team is focused, moving with military precision. The countdown to breach the flagship's hull ticks down. The mission feels like a lifetime in the making, a mission that could change the course of the war or end in their annihilation. "We're in," the lead engineer reports over the comms, initiating lockdown sequence now. The team moves swiftly through the dark corridors of the flagship, their steps silent on the polished alien floors. They are ghosts in the belly of the beast, their every move calculated, their every breath controlled. Voss's pulse quickens with each passing moment. The next few minutes will decide everything. But just as the team nears the power core, alarms blare throughout the ship. The Valkyrians have detected them. There is no turning back now. Voss watches as the team races against time to sabotage the core. The clock ticks down. They're close, but the Valkyrians are closing in on them, and the final moments of this daring mission are about to unfold. The silence of the Valkyrian flagship is unsettling. The stealth shuttle glides through its massive corridors, the small team of soldiers and engineers moving like shadows. Their mission is clear: reach the core of the ship, sabotage its power systems, and cripple the flagship that controls the entire Valkyrian fleet. But as the seconds tick by, the weight of their task presses heavily on them. Time is their most precious commodity now. Captain Ilara Voss watches the operation unfold from Earth's command center, her hands clenched into fists. Every movement from the team is displayed on the holographic map before her, each step bringing them closer to their objective. A bead of sweat runs down her forehead, and she can feel the pressure mounting. They've made it this far, but they aren't out of danger yet. Back on the flagship, the team's leader, Lieutenant Marcus Drake, taps the comms in his ear. "We're almost there. Just a few more corridors, and we'll be at the power core." Drake's voice is calm, but Voss can hear the tension beneath it. The entire mission hinges on these few minutes. A single misstep could mean the end of everything. Then the alarm rings. Warning: unauthorized presence detected. All security teams to the lower levels. Lockdown initiated. The message sends a jolt of panic through the team. The Valkyrians have detected them. "Move faster," Lieutenant Drake orders, his voice a sharp command. The team quickens its pace, now running down the corridors of the flagship, their footsteps echoing in the empty expanse of the alien ship. Their stealth advantage has been lost, and now they're on the clock. A loud explosion rings through the ship, followed by the crackling sound of energy shields coming online. The Valkyrians have activated full lockdown. Every door, every escape route is now sealed. The team is trapped inside the belly of the beast. "We're not getting out the same way we came in," says Sergeant Kira Holt, one of the engineers. "We'll have to make our own exit once we've done the job." "Let's just focus on finishing the mission," Drake responds, his voice tight with urgency. "If we can disable the core, we cripple their entire fleet. It'll be worth the sacrifice." With no time to waste, the team pushes forward, cutting through the last few security barriers. They arrive at the heart of the Valkyrian flagship, the power core, the very engine that fuels the ship and its systems. The core glows ominously, pulsing with energy that hums through the entire ship. Voss watches the final approach on her screen. Every detail of the operation plays out before her eyes. "How much time until detonation?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. Drake checks his equipment. 5 minutes. We're setting the charges now. The core is heavily protected, and the team has to work quickly to bypass the intricate alien security systems that are built into the heart of the ship. Holt works furiously, her hands flying over the alien control panels as she decodes the systems, trying to match the unfamiliar interface with their human tech. Her movements are frantic, but precise. Suddenly, the doors behind them slam open. Armed Valkyrian soldiers charge toward them, their weapons crackling with energy. "Ambush," Holt shouts, grabbing her weapon and firing back at the oncoming soldiers. The team has no choice but to fight their way out, their backs to the core as they hold off the Valkyrian forces. Drake takes charge, directing his team to take cover and make their stand. The explosive charges are already set, ticking down with deadly precision. "Finish the job," Drake orders as he fires at an advancing Valkyrian soldier. "We need to disable the core." Voss watches helplessly, her heart in her throat. Every second feels like an eternity. The team is fighting a losing battle, but they can't afford to retreat, not when victory is so close. The first charge detonates, sending a violent shockwave through the ship. The core begins to destabilize, flickering and sputtering as the Valkyrian systems start to falter. A triumphant cheer erupts from the team, but it's quickly cut short when the ship shudders violently under a second explosion. "We've done it," Holt says, her voice tinged with disbelief. The core's been compromised, but there's no time to savor the victory. The Valkyrian soldiers are closing in, and with the core destabilized, the ship is beginning to fall apart. The team has no choice but to find an exit. Fast. Get to the extraction point. Drake yells, leading the charge toward the nearest escape route. They race through the ship's corridors, barely dodging the collapsing infrastructure around them. The Valkyrians are relentless, but the humans fight with everything they have, their determination pushing them forward. As they reach the ship's hangar, Voss watches from Earth's command center, her heart pounding in her chest. The shuttle that will carry them back to safety is waiting, but there's a new sense of urgency in her mind. They need to get off the ship now. Seconds later, the team boards the shuttle, escaping the doomed flagship just as it begins to tear itself apart. The Valkyrian fleet, leaderless and crippled, starts to falter in its movements. The first wave of humanity's retaliation is over. The flagship is lost, but so much more lies ahead. As the shuttle races away from the flaming wreckage of the Valkyrian flagship, Voss exhales deeply, knowing that this victory is only the beginning. As the shuttle rockets away from the disintegrating wreckage of the Valkyrian flagship, Captain Ilara Voss can feel a deep sense of relief wash over her. The mission has been a success. Against all odds, humanity has struck a blow to the heart of the Valkyrian war machine. But even as the team retreats back to Earth's orbit, Voss knows this battle is far from over. The Valkyrians, despite their considerable losses, will not surrender. They will retaliate with even more force, and humanity must be ready. The question now is whether this victory is enough to shift the balance in their favor, or if it's merely a fleeting moment of hope before the full weight of the Valkyrian war machine crushes them. Back on Earth, the command center erupts in cheers as the final reports come in. The Valkyrian flagship has been completely disabled. The rest of the fleet, without the command structure of their flagship, is floundering, disorganized. Several ships have already begun to retreat back into deep space. Voss stands at the heart of the command room, staring at the flashing holograms that represent the fractured Valkyrian fleet. The damage is significant, but it's not enough to declare victory yet. Humanity has dealt a critical blow, but the aliens have resources and reserves far beyond anything the humans can imagine. We have them on the run, Voss says, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside. But this war isn't won yet. Prepare for a counterattack. There's no time to rest. As the Valkyrians pull back, they're not retreating. They're reorganizing. Commander Talia Rice joins Voss in the command center, her expression grim. They're already regrouping, Captain, she says, tapping on a holographic console. We've got reports from every front. The Valkyrians are planning to launch a second wave, more coordinated than the first. They've learned from their mistakes. They won't be caught off guard again. Voss's mind races. The human fleet is still recovering from the initial assault. Their ships are battered, their resources stretched thin. A second wave, stronger and more focused, could easily break them. We need to hit them before they can regroup, Voss says, her voice firm. We can't afford to give them time to rebuild their momentum. Agreed, Rise replies. We've got a few ships that are still in decent shape. We can launch a surprise attack. We've learned their tactics and we know their weaknesses now. This could work. A series of quick tactical simulations begin on the screens in front of Voss, showing the possible movements of the Valkyrian fleet. Every option is risky, but there's no choice now. They must strike hard and fast, before the Valkyrians can recover their full strength. Meanwhile, the shuttle carrying the strike team returns, and Lieutenant Marcus Drake and his team step off, weary but victorious. As they enter the command room, Voss feels a surge of pride. They'd done the impossible. They'd brought humanity a chance at survival. Lieutenant, Voss begins, her tone steady but respectful. You and your team did something extraordinary. This victory means more than just disabling a ship. It's a message. The Valkyrians may have underestimated us, but they know better now. Drake nods, but there's no triumph in his eyes, only the quiet resolve of a soldier who's seen too much war. We've made a mark, Captain, but they're not going to let this slide. This was just a blip in their plans. We've slowed them down, but we've still got a long way to go. Voss agrees. This isn't over, not by a long shot. We're going to need everything we got to turn this war in our favor. But this victory, no matter how small, has shown them that humanity won't just roll over. The Valkyrians, so sure of their superiority, have been dealt a blow they didn't see coming. For the first time in this war, they are on the back foot. The next move is humanity's. Across the globe, humanity braces itself for what's to come. Civilians are urged to prepare for potential evacuation. Military forces are mobilized, and scientists work tirelessly to improve existing technologies. The war machine that had once seemed unstoppable is beginning to falter, and humans, driven by an insatiable need to survive, begin to show the aliens just how dangerous they truly are. Voss knows they can't win this war through brute force alone. They must be smarter, faster, and more resourceful than their enemies. Humanity's strength lies in their ability to adapt, to learn from their mistakes, and to fight with everything they have. And now, with the Valkyrians reeling from their first real defeat, humanity has a chance to turn the tide of the war. The air in Earth's command center is thick with tension. After the initial victory, humanity has gained a sliver of hope, but it's fragile, like glass ready to shatter. The Valkyrians may have been dealt a crippling blow, but their fleet is vast, and their capacity for retaliation is limitless. Now, humanity must act quickly, before the Valkyrians can recover, before their fury is unleashed in full force. Captain Ilara Voss stands before the holographic map, watching as the remnants of the Valkyrian fleet regroup in deep space. She knows they can't afford to let them reorganize. The next strike could be their last chance to decisively tip the scales of war in humanity's favor. We know their next move, Voss says, her voice steady but full of purpose. They're going to launch a full-scale assault to reclaim what they've lost. They'll come with everything they've got, and if we don't strike first, we'll be wiped out. Commander Talia Reyes steps beside her, her face drawn with exhaustion but determination. We're outnumbered. We've got a few ships left that can still fight, but we don't have the firepower to go toe-to-toe with their entire fleet. Voss turns to face Reyes, her mind racing through every possible strategy. There's no conventional way they can win this. It's a fact that weighs heavily on her shoulders. The Valkyrians have the edge in numbers, technology, and power. Humanity, however, has one advantage they've yet to fully exploit: unpredictability. We're not going to fight them head-on, Voss says, a dangerous spark igniting in her eyes. We're going to make them think we've got something we don't. With that, she unveils the plan. A bold, dangerous, and ultimately reckless gamble. The humans will deploy a decoy fleet, one that looks like a vast armada, but is, in reality, nothing more than a series of modified ships designed to trick the Valkyrians into overextending their forces. The real strike will come from an unexpected quarter. A covert operation designed to hit the heart of the Valkyrian fleet while it's distracted by the decoy. It's risky, Reyes warns, studying the simulation on the screen. If the Valkyrians see through it, they'll annihilate us before we can do anything. There's no room for error. We don't have a choice, Voss replies, her voice unyielding. If we can pull this off, we'll cripple their entire command structure and force them to retreat. We can end this war. The plan is set into motion. Across Earth, human forces scramble to prepare. Shipyards are working overtime to retrofit the last of humanity's remaining fleet. Pilots and crews undergo rapid training, making the most of the limited resources at their disposal. The decoy fleet is put together quickly, 10 ships, made to look like a full-scale armada, rigged with false readings that will fool the Valkyrians into thinking they're facing an overwhelming force. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Marcus Drake and his team, still riding the adrenaline of their previous success, are assigned to the Covert Strike mission. Their task is to infiltrate the heart of the Valkyrian fleet, disable their communications, and cripple their command vessel. "Are you sure this is the right move, Captain?" Drake asks as he prepares to board the shuttle. The last mission had nearly cost them everything. And this one will be even more dangerous. Voss nods. "I don't like it, but we have no other choice. Get in, disable their systems, and get out. This is it, Marcus. You and your team are our last hope." The decoy fleet launches first, its ships drifting into deep space, broadcasting false signals and mimicking human fleet movements. The Valkyrians, lured into the trap, respond quickly. Their ships close in, drawn by the prospect of finishing off what they believe is a vulnerable human force. The battle that ensues is intense but predictable. The Valkyrians, thinking they've caught humanity in a deadly snare, launch wave after wave of firepower. At the same time, Drake and his team slip past the chaos in a small shuttle, hidden among the debris. They move swiftly, using the distraction to infiltrate the command vessel of the Valkyrian fleet. Every second counts as they hack into the alien systems, planting explosives to disable the fleet's central communications node. Just as the decoy fleet begins to take heavy fire, a signal is sent from Drake's team, confirming that they've breached the heart of the Valkyrian operations. Commencing sabotage, Drake reports. The countdown begins. The Valkyrians are distracted, too focused on destroying the decoy fleet to notice the real danger until it's too late. In the chaos, their communications falter, and their once unified fleet begins to disintegrate. Ships break off from the main force, confused, lost without their command structure. Voss watches the unraveling of the Valkyrian fleet with a mix of awe and grim satisfaction. The decoy fleet is taking heavy losses, but they've done their job. The Valkyrians are no longer in control. It's the moment humanity has been waiting for, the first real taste of victory. But there's no time to celebrate. As the clock ticks down on Drake's mission, the Valkyrians begin to recover from the disarray. They will regroup, and the final battle will be even fiercer. The decoy fleet has done its job. The Valkyrians, now thrown into disarray, have taken the bait. They're scattered, disoriented, and vulnerable. This is humanity's chance, their only chance, but the Valkyrians will not go down without a fight. They are regrouping, preparing for one last, all-out assault. If humanity can't capitalize on this moment, the war will be lost. Captain Ilara Voss watches the chaos unfold on the holographic map before her. The Valkyrians' fleet is now fractured, ships moving in disorganized patterns as their command systems sputter from the sabotage Lieutenant Marcus Drake and his team initiated. The decoy fleet, though taking significant losses, has kept the majority of the enemy's attention focused on them. It's working, but not for long. "We have one shot at this," Voss says, her voice cutting through the room. "Once the Valkyrians regroup, we're going to face the full force of their fleet again. We cannot afford to waste this opportunity." Commander Talia Rice nods. "We've been coordinating with the remaining human forces. The key will be striking fast and hitting them where it hurts most. Their command ship is the crux. We take that. We take their will to fight. The plan is simple yet incredibly risky. Voss and her remaining fleet will launch a surprise offensive, targeting the heart of the Valkyrian command structure, while the decoy fleet buys them time. Humanity's real strike will be against the Valkyrian flagship, the very ship that coordinates their entire war effort. If they can destroy it, they'll throw the Valkyrian forces into complete disarray. Without leadership, the alien invaders will have no choice but to retreat. Lieutenant Marcus Drake's team, battered but determined after their initial success, is already preparing for the final leg of their mission. The team is small, but they are experts in infiltration, sabotage, and combat. Their job will be to board the Valkyrian flagship and disable its core systems. They'll face impossible odds, but it's the only way forward. Drake stands at the shuttle's hatch, looking out over the chaos of space. The decoy fleet is still engaging, drawing Vulcarian fire, but it won't last forever. He tightens his grip on his weapon. "This is it," he mutters to his team. "We do this, and we either win or die. Let's make it count." The team boards their shuttle, their destination locked. The Vulcarian flagship. They will slip through the cracks in the aliens' defenses, infiltrate their most protected vessel, and plant the explosives that will cripple their command ship once and for all. As they approach the flagship, the size of the alien warship looms before them, a monstrous testament to Vulcarian power. The shuttle shudders as it enters the flagship's atmosphere, evading the remaining defenses. It's a hair-raising few moments, but the shuttle slips through undetected. They're in. Inside the flagship, the team moves swiftly through darkened corridors. The quiet hum of alien technology surrounds them, a constant reminder of the enemy's might. Every step feels like an eternity as they navigate the labyrinthine passages, avoiding patrols and security systems. Drake leads the team, eyes scanning every shadow for movement. His heart races, but his focus is unwavering. "Stay sharp. We only have a few minutes once we reach the core." Finally, they reach their destination, the heart of the Vulcarian flagship. The core is an imposing structure bathed in cold, alien light. The team sets to work immediately, planting charges and disabling the alien security systems that protect the vessel's vital organs. Sergeant Kira Holt works furiously at a terminal, hacking into the Vulcarians' primary control systems. Every second counts. The alarms blare, echoing through the ship. The Vulcarians know they're there. "We've been compromised," Drake growls, his voice low but urgent. "Plant the final charges. Let's move." The team continues to work, their actions growing more frantic as the Vulcarians close in. The explosive charges are ready. With one final push, the core will be destroyed, and the flagship will crumble. But then, a voice cuts through the chaos. "This is not your victory, humans. You cannot defeat us." A towering figure emerges from the shadows. It's the Vulcarian commander, flanked by a small battalion of elite soldiers. "You've done well to get this far," the commander continues, his voice cold and calculating. "But this ends here." A firefight erupts in the heart of the flagship as Drake's team battles to buy enough time for the charges to detonate. The Vulcarians are relentless, and the team is running out of time. Every shot fired, every second that passes, brings them closer to death. "Now, Drake," Voss's voice crackles through his earpiece. "You've got 1 minute." The countdown begins. With a final, desperate push, Drake detonates the explosives. The flagship shudders, its power core destabilizing, and the lights flicker out. A massive explosion tears through the ship, ripping it apart from the inside. The Vulcarians, without their flagship, are thrown into total disarray. Their once coordinated fleet breaks apart. The remaining human fleet moves in with deadly precision. The Vulcarians are disoriented, their leadership gone, and humanity strikes. They push forward, gaining ground with each passing moment. Voss stands in the command center, watching as the Vulcarian fleet collapses. The battle is not over, but the tide is turned. Humanity has won. The war is far from finished, but for the first time, Earth has a fighting chance.